So I think there's something there which is about believing in people. You know, people, when they start that journey of giving support and constantly pushing them. I know you've had amazing mentorship within the sector as well. So I kind of want to just demonstrate that this is like a real life example of when you take somebody and you kind of like do them on the journey all the way through.
Just from interacting with other people, my peers, it just happened organically. I don't know how to explain it, but I think for myself, I'd always seen myself as I pride myself. I always think life is for learning. Wherever you find yourself, just try and learn something. And I think I always kind of step out of my comfort zone. I might not know what I'm doing, but I'm always willing to try. And so I didn't realize that I had some skills, but people within the community said, I think you're good at this. And then I thought, well, I don't know. And they said, why don't you try this? And so I think what was really key for me was people who saw me before I knew that I had the skills and said, I believe you can do this. And so sometimes it just seems really daunting when you say to someone wanting to be a leader. So there's that. And then there's gender inequality with cultural pressures and expectations. There's domestic violence, immigration status, caring roles and family responsibilities means that people may not be safe.
These are predominantly young African and Afro-caribbean people that come from poverty, social injustice, inequalities, and that's in their world now, and they're aware of it. So why don't we equip them with the tools so they can think about those things? And if they go out there and they talk about Black Lives Matter, then in 2 years' time, they may come back and go, do you know what? I feel confident enough to talk about HIV. I'm not talking about my own HIV, but I can talk about HIV. So we, again, have to think creatively about getting them to do that.
I feel like the structures in the organisation are quite good at nurturing children from a young age and building them to that point. One of the things that I think we grapple with a bit is the burden of responsibility on them. That they are then called to represent this group of children growing up with HIV. They are called to represent HIV in childhood. And I feel very strongly that actually one of the best outcomes for our work would be that they just get on with their lives.
I remember some of the first ever studies on African men who have sex with men were done here. And it's prompted the world to think about Africa. And it's London that started. And it's us.
I am personally ambivalent about the whole idea about a seat at the table. It's still their table. And there's still a seat. And it's still their food. And it's still their tablecloth. And so in some ways I just want to just recognize the fact that we're having the experience that we're meant to have. Because the system was not built for us. We're having the experience that we're meant to have because the system is not built for us.
The issues around being perceived as being incompetent, being disorganized, being incapable of delivering, I think is wrong. And I also think that the issue of being planned for, or having things tailored or suggested for us, I don't think works. So, in that regard, I really think that this initiative of trying to identify leaders and setting clear priorities as to what we want to achieve is very important.
I don't know how to communicate effectively across the system, across the country with other people, and not having that network I think is actually a challenge. And if we have that network, I think that's something that's really valuable because we're all such passionate advocates in our own work, but I feel like if we really want to talk about leadership on a larger scale, we kind of need to come together and be able to talk to each other and know everyone and know actually what is everyone already doing, what is working, which are, you've talked about intersectionality, who's working, who's doing that intersectional work, who's not. You've talked about peer mentoring. Is that something that we can all learn from? And what are those spaces that we have to do that together?